Iran has two navies. They have a very unique system of armed forces where they have two armed forces complete all in all domains, land, air, and sea. One is called Artesh, which is a regular armed forces, and the other is called IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps, IRGC. So both of them have three sister services, like three arms. Like Artesh has land, navy, and air force, and then IRGC has land, aerospace force, which does not have actually the aircraft, but it controls all the missiles, rockets, and drones. And then they have navy. So when we come to the navies, there are two navies. One is Artesh and one is IRGC. The Artesh Navy is a regular navy, like any other country's navy, like Pakistan Navy. They have bigger platforms, ships, and submarines and everything, and they have bigger bases also. So when President Trump says that he has destroyed Iranian navy, he has perhaps caused severe damage to this Artesh Navy because this Artesh Navy cannot be matched with the U.S. Navy. So U.S. Navy can damage Artesh Navy to a great extent. I'm not saying that it has been completely obliterated. There are no independent sources that have confirmed this, or even the number of ships that President Trump says that around 158 ships have been sunk. I don't think Artesh Navy ever had 158 ships, but a substantial damage might have been caused. Artesh Navy actually is an ocean-going navy, so it goes to the deep seas and oceans and out of Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Oman to the Indian Ocean and things like that. IRIS Dina, which was actually attacked by American submarine near Sri Lanka, belonged to Artesh Navy. There were three ships that were coming back from India, and one of them was hit. It is basically IRGC Navy, which is deployed in Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, and Gulf of Oman. These are all three confined waters. These are actually not open seas, but confined waters. So IRGC Navy has a responsibility to operate in these waters. And IRGC Navy actually works on asymmetric warfare. While Artesh Navy works on regular warfare, or conventional warfare, they go for asymmetric warfare. So, similarly, correspondingly, they have different types of boats and equipments and things like that. Now, if you look at the map of Iran, its geography is very dominating Persian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, and Gulf of Oman. You see, when you start moving from Persian Gulf, you enter Strait of Hormuz, which is a choke point, and then you enter into Gulf of Oman, and then you go out to Arabian Sea. And reciprocal course is same. When you are entering from Arabian Sea, you come to Gulf of Oman, then Strait of Hormuz, and then go to Persian Gulf. If you see Persian Gulf or this area, you would find that in the north of all these three water bodies, it's only Iran. Its coastline starts from Gulf of Oman, goes to Iraq in the west, and it's all Iran in the north of all these three water bodies. But in the south, there are many countries like there is Oman also, UAE also, Saudi Arabia also, Bahrain also, Qatar also, and Iraq also. But in the north, it's only Iran. So Iran actually has very dominating position in this region. And over and above that, Iran has actually made good use of its geography also. So all along the coast, there are small and bigger bases on which they have deployed these IRGC boats and missile batteries and things like that. And then they have islands, so many islands in Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz also. Even there are two islands which are disputed between Iran and UAE, and Iran controls those islands. So it has converted all islands into military bases. So there are boats stationed there, there are missile batteries there, there are underwater pilotless vehicles also there, there are tunnels also where they can store these boats. And because these are confined waters, so Iran actually makes use of smaller boats and speedier boats. Because in confined waters, these are successful vis-a-vis bigger platforms. So whenever a bigger platform enters these confined waters, it becomes a bigger target also because it is sluggish and then it is big in size also. So it is very convenient for the smaller size platforms to hit it, to hunt it. And on reciprocal basis, it is very difficult for a bigger platform to actually hunt or kill all the smaller platforms. So if, uh, for example, 50 boats are approaching a ship, and you are able to hit or sink even 45 boats or 48 boats, if two boats are remaining, those two boats will still be able to sink a ship. It is that easy for Iran. Acha. Another thing is that the geography is such that even if you take away all the military hardware from Iran, I think even through fishing boats, Iran can control the Strait of Hormuz and Persian Gulf very easily because they can have rocket launcher people sitting on fishing boats. The fishing boats can still harass the ships. They can hunt them. They can hit them, and they can still run away. And there will be a scene where the ship may not be able to do anything against that ship fishing boat. So it's pretty easy for them to do that. That's why American Navy has not been able to enter Strait of Hormuz, because as soon as they do it, they will be hit. They will be a big, comfortable and convenient target for IRGC Navy. One reason is this. The another reason is that if Americans enter or try to have Strait of Hormuz physically opened, Iran, as of now, controls the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is open, but it is under the control of Iran. But if somebody tries to wrest the control physically from Iran, Iran has the options to block the Strait of Hormuz permanently because it has mines of different types which can be thrown and laid in the Strait of Hormuz. And clearance of mines will take months and even a year. Okay. Very interesting question, and it's a complex one also. You see, there are two very famous terminologies in maritime operations. One is sea denial and one is sea control. Okay. Now, sea denial is something that you deny a space at sea or an area at sea to your enemy. This is this is just you deny it for its use, for your adversary's use. Sea control is the area which you retain with you for your own freedom of action. So, if you go through the open sources, you would find that most of the writers are saying that U.S. Navy is exercising sea control, and Iranians are exercising sea denial. Acha, sea control is an offensive operation. Sea denial is a defensive operation in its essence. But I personally feel that the situation is other way around. Iranians are exercising sea control because they are controlling one of the very sensitive choke points in the world, and they have liberty of action in that area, which the US has not been able to seize. Number one, US has established a blockade. A blockade is established against a country, not an area. So US has established a blockade against Iran, and it has established this blockade with the purpose that Iran should leave the control of Strait of Hormuz. The blockade has, although punished Iran economically, but it has not actually been able to seize control of the Strait of Hormuz from Iran. Okay. If you study blockade, technically, this is an act of war, number one. And number two, this is a function of sea denial, not sea control. So, such a big navy, as you rightly pointed out, advanced, strong, sophisticated, has resorted to sea denial, not sea control. So Americans are in defensive operations right now, actually, and Iranians are in offensive operations. This is on-ground situation. So that's why I differ. I actually differ with whatever people are writing on the open sources. This is how the situation is. Now, uh, Americans, as I told you earlier, will not be able to enter Strait of Hormuz despite all the warnings, cautions, and destruction and call-ons to the rest of the world that come and help us and join coalition, have Strait of Hormuz open, for the mere fact that Iranians are very well embedded and very well entrenched in that area. And it is, as I mentioned earlier, it is right now under their control. So it's open. But if you try to exercise your naval strength over there and you try to have it opened by force, Iranians might go for other options, like they can lay mines in the water. Now, if they lay mines in the water, it will take months or maybe even a year to clear them and make the Strait of Hormuz completely safe for all shipping. Number two, because it is confined water and the ships can pass through only designated lanes, Iranians may also have the option of scuttling a ship and sinking it in the passage. So that will again take years to clear it because you will have to break it underwater and then bring the pieces out and then clear the passage. So nobody will take risk of entering into Strait of Hormuz with force. What Americans recently tried, that they actually sent their helicopters under the protection of fighter aircraft, and those helicopters actually targeted IRGC boats, and 6 boats they say have been sunk in a Strait of Hormuz. But IRGC has hundreds of boats, and to some estimates, there are more than 1,000 boats that they possess. So, how many helicopter operations will be required? And then helicopter operations are not as secure in geographical area like this because they can be hunted down very easily also. So I don't think, and you also see that in retaliation to that American action, Iranians actually then targeted Fujairah. So it's going to be a domino effect, action and reaction sort of thing. So it's going to make things complex, more chaotic, and more catastrophic for the world. So Americans, or for that matter, any other navy or coalition even, will not enter the Strait of Hormuz until unless it is with the consent of Iranians to open Strait of Hormuz. Actually, if you see in this war, a geographical area has defeated not only technology but the strategy also. The Strait of Hormuz actually has defeated the American strategy. They have not been able to do anything but to establish a blockade, which I told you is a defensive operation. It is a sea denial strategy. So Americans, their technology might, their good strategy, whatever you say, has been defeated by Strait of Hormuz. Now, Iran actually is leveraging Strait of Hormuz. There is no doubt about it. Every country has a strategic capability, and Iran has this strategic capability in the shape of Strait of Hormuz, which the nature has provided it in the shape of geography dominating Strait of Hormuz. So even though Iran relieves the control of Strait of Hormuz and opens it as it was before 28 February, Iran will always have that leverage to control it in the matter of hours whenever it feels so. Whenever anybody threatens Iran, I think that leverage will always remain with Iran because it has that kind of geography, number one. But you see, Iran knows that as soon as Iran leaves the control of the Strait of Hormuz, the world will try to control it because now the world has come to know that Iran can do it. Iran has been saying it, that I can do it, but it has never done it. So it is for the very first time. This war has actually legitimized the claim of Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. So now Iran can actually exercise this claim anytime of its own choosing. So as soon as Iran leaves the control of Strait of Hormuz, the world would like to take over, and Iran would never like the world or any other country to take control of Strait of Hormuz. So this is going to be a bone of contention for both of them. Number two things, second thing, I think that is going to happen is the countries around this Strait of Hormuz in the region would like to devalue Strait of Hormuz, and they would like to find out the alternate routes of Strait of Hormuz. And Iran will also do it because Iran would like to have Chabahar port activated in a more pronounced manner than it is right now. Because Chabahar port is out of Strait of Hormuz in Gulf of Oman. Iran would also like to have pipelines now through Turkey, through Azerbaijan, through Turkmenistan, through Pakistan. Likewise, the Arab partners, Arab countries, they will also like to have alternate routes of other than Strait of Hormuz, but it's a very time-taking and expensive process. A lot of investment has to go, and it will take time. But till that time, who will control the Strait of Hormuz actually will decide the geopolitics. I think very pertinent questions. Number one, it is not necessary that you mine a water. You can only announce it, and it is considered mined. So one possibility could be this, that they may not have mined it. They have just announced it. So no ship, even military warship or merchant ship would dare going into that area where somebody has announced that there are mines there. One aspect is this. So it will be of no surprise to me, at least, that when this war is over, Iran says that complete the Strait of Hormuz is safe for ships passage because we did not mine it. It is very normal. Number one. Number two, there are three kinds of mines actually. One is called ground mines. They go into the seabed, sit over there, and they have sensors. So whenever they sense that a ship is coming, they explode. The other is called moored mines. They have a sinker which sinks, which actually sinks in the bed. Then there's a cable, and with the cable, this moored mine is basically entangled. So it is also also has sensors, and it can also be a contact mine. So if a ship is coming and the mine senses that a ship is coming, it explodes. If it fails to sense, when the ship hits it, it explodes. And the third form is floating mines. You just throw them on the water and they keep floating. And they float from one place to another. And wherever there is a ship, if ship hits them, they will explode. So these are three kinds of mines, and there are different procedures of actually laying them and different procedures of actually clearing them. But laying them is far easier than actually clearing them. Number one, the country that has laid the mines, it is easy for the same country to clear them because while you are laying the mines, you record the position of that mine. So whenever you have to clear it, you go back to this position, and even if the mine has drifted to some measure, you will still find it in the vicinity where you actually laid it. But if you are not the country who laid the mines, it is very, very, very difficult for you to clear it because you first have to find it out. And you have to do this job in a very, very peaceful environment. You should have no other threat to your ships doing this job. Even if you have underwater, remoteless, pilotless vehicles who are going to do this job, those pilotless vehicles are to be controlled by motherships. So motherships have to be safe. And it takes a lot of time, a lot of care, because the mine might explode because of your actions and you can be damaged yourself. So I think for the country who has not laid mines and who doesn't know the exact position of the mines when they were laid, it is extremely difficult for that country and extremely time taking also. That's why if Iran throws it and goes back to mainland Iran, for the whole world, it will be a nightmare to clear these mines in these waters. I would not call them suicidal dolphins, but they certainly have suicidal boats. Number one, speed boats, which can carry out kamikaze operations. And number two, they have underwater pilotless vehicles. For sure, they have those. So you call them suicidal dolphins or whatever, but underwater pilotless vehicles are very common nowadays. They are a very common trend coming up in naval warfare, and many navies are actually seeking them. They are the present and the future, in fact. So I don't think Iran would lag behind in that technology also. Okay. Uh, Iran has one distinction among the countries of the region. They have good industrial capacity, really good industrial capacity. They manufacture from needle to ship themselves. And this industrial capacity actually was brought to Iran in the times of Shah before revolution. Whatever technology actually he acquired with transfer of technology. So that actually created a sound industrial footing, industrial base in Iran, and that industrial base was further expanded by the revolutionary guys. They did not lag behind in that. So they are manufacturing almost everything by themselves. Okay, Artesh Navy, I would say they have made their own ships, their submarines, uh, their bigger platforms, middle-sized platforms, smaller-sized platforms. That's okay. But Artesh Navy may not be matched or compared with US Navy or the leading navies of the region. Even I would say not even Pakistan Navy. Pakistan Navy is much advanced and has more sophisticated platforms. But the good thing is that they are doing it themselves. They are manufacturing, producing themselves. So one day they will improve it. But this is IRGC Navy, which is a point of concern for whole region and the world. And as I told you before, that this IRGC Navy has made good use of their geography. So asymmetric warfare with geographical advantage. I think this is the key Iran has leveraged, and this is something that has given credence or credibility to Iranian military in this conflict against world's two best armed forces. Iran is actually giving them tough time. It's probably because they have invested a lot in Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz and Gulf of Oman because of their geographical advantage.